3 test tubes. This one has distilled water. These two have distilled water with a drop of green food coloring. We're going to add about 1 milliliter of sulfuric acid each, 1 molar. We're going to set up the Fenton reagent. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some hydrogen peroxide to all 3. We're going to look at what happens in distilled water, we're going to look at what happens when we don't catalyze the reaction, and we're going to look at what happens when we do the full reaction. So currently, not too much is going on. What we're going to do next is we're going to add a little bit of iron 2, and that's going to turn into iron 3, and we're going to start to see some reaction going on. So in this distilled water, you can see the bubbling going on, and there's a lot of free radical generation in this process. Okay. Now over here, we don't really have too much going on until we add that iron 2. And so we're only going to do it in the 1. It's not the hydrogen peroxide by itself that gets this reaction to happen at any particular rate. It's really when you add in something to kind of speed up the process. And so instead of a Haber Weiss mechanism, we're trying to get the Fenton mechanism to go about. And when we do this, when we create these strong free radicals that are very reactive, they're a really strong oxidizing agent, and they're able to react with things that normally are pretty stable. So in the green food coloring, there are 2 dyes. There's a yellow and a blue. And you're going to see this green go from being green to kind of fading into yellow, and then eventually going all the way to clear. That's going to take a little bit though, because that is a stable molecule. For now, you can see this is generating a lot of gas. And we get a little bit of a brown color here from the iron 3. And also some gas generation. So while we're waiting for that to finish reacting, in the next ones we're going to do some tonic water, which is a source of quinine. I'll scoot these over. Some more tonic water for our control. Some fluorescein, 1%. And some more fluorescein. So like the food dyes before, the fluorescein and the quinine are very stable molecules. And so upon the addition of hydrogen peroxide, we're not going to see anything happen to them. First, we have to confirm their presence. And so to do that, we're going to use a UV light. Turn the lights down. So we can see a definite glow, especially this nice blue color in the quinine, the green color in the fluorescein. So go ahead and shut that down. So to keep things constant here, we're going to add a little bit of distilled water here, a little bit of distilled water here, and then to the other 2, we're going to set up the reagent. So we're going to go back to our sulfuric acid. And add that to the 2nd and the 4th test tubes. Add some peroxide to the 2nd and 4th test tubes. We'll give that a stir in a second. In the meantime, though, we'll flip this on You can see that we're still seeing a glow. It's a little different color than the other one after a little bit of mixing up, but we still have our blue color, we still have our fluorescence. Now we're going to add in the iron 3. We're going to pick up that Fenton mechanism. I can give that a stir. Give that a stir. And so we can already definitely see that in the quinine that fluorescence is fading quite a bit. So the quinine molecules are being consumed by the free radicals being generated through the Fenton mechanism. Now the fluorescein looks like it's going to take a little bit longer, so while we're waiting for that, let's go ahead and take a look at our food coloring. And we can see that the green color has now faded. We can now see a little bit of a yellow color, which is either the yellow dye left from the food coloring still being consumed, or it might also just be some of the iron that's at the bottom of this turning into iron 3 and being in the solution. That's why we made this first one, for comparison purposes. Now we can see a little hint of yellow color in this. If we compare the distilled, we do see a difference, and so we can see that there's a little bit of the lingering yellow food dye left behind in that. So now I can see a really faint color in this. In fact, that might just be the light coming from here and reflecting off of here. This is becoming more faint, still not quite to the point. So yesterday I ran another one of these over here. So let's go ahead and swap this out with an older one. So we can in fact see. And so we have our quinine with the Fenton reagent, we have our fluorescein, and our fluorescein with the Fenton reagent. So the two in the middle are the ones that have had the Fenton reagent added, and you can see pretty clearly there that the fluorescence has died down quite a bit.